Well, we took a step in the right direction against a team that's been playing awfully well. I thought we did a hell of a job defensively, the first half especially. I told the Davis kid after the game, he's a hell of a player. Went 1 for 8, and I guess we got to give our guys some credit on that. He did a good job, but the Telfer kid hurt us a little bit when I had Malik out of there. I thought all in all we shot it a little better. Still missed some good shots, but Jaden, who was my best shooter all summer, is still struggling with his shot, and which causes him to struggle defensively. But other than that, he knows it. Nobody works harder at it. He'll bounce back, but to go 3 for 13 with the shots he had creates, instead of shooting 55% and maybe 50 from the 3, we were short of that. But to out-rebound him by 10, get 59 shots up, have 10 turnovers, those are all positive things that are going to help us win games. But that's a good team. I thought Pierre played good, and now I can be happy for him. Before tonight, I didn't want to be happy for him until after the game, but I thought he played good and looked good. So, believe it or not, I'm really happy for Pierre and hope he has a hell of a year.
Coach, you kind of mentioned the defensive performance in the first half. You held them to 28% on the night. Can you kind of just give some of the key factors behind the success of the defense tonight?
Well, with A.J. Tyson and Jaden, I thought we'd have the best defensive team that I've had in a while. And then when you bring a guy off the bench like Jeremy, who, by the way, played very well tonight, that's encouraging. Jaden, we missed up some coverages and some backdoor plays. I think when offense doesn't go right, it sometimes affects a guy's defense. But we still played awfully hard. Malik covered up a lot of things, and I don't know if you could tell, but both Cooper and Marty did a lot of stuff on some of those dribble handoffs and that to keep them contained. They hurt us a little bit early. We changed the coverage a little bit, and those guys both did a hell of a job, and Coop ended up with 11 rebounds, Marty 6. They both scored a bucket, but their defense was what really was impressive. So they helped the guards a lot.
Hey,
Tom,
Coach.
Carson was who I was going to ask you about, Tom. Why make that switch, and what did you think about what you got out of it?
I was going to be like hockey. I was going to switch the whole crew, and because I just didn't like the way we were starting. And some other guys, there were other guys that didn't play as good, and I would have switched them. But we just thought this was the one that really didn't matter the most because both guys are playing 20 minutes a game, but we wanted to see. We were a little disappointed with a couple things, so Doug, him and I talked about it, and we thought, give Coop a chance. But we're not in any way, shape, or form down on Marty either. In fact, he actually did some good things going in there. But, it was is it going to stay that way? It might. It was not for punishment or there have been other guys sitting out. So it wasn't for any of that. It was just a gut feel on something we wanted to try.
Coach, you talked after the Duke loss about wanting Tyson to be more aggressive in the first half. Did you see that tonight?
Yeah, I did. What he did tonight, though, I think he felt he could drive it a lot, which he did, but that hurt his three-point shooting a little bit. Instead of being ready to shoot, I think he was ready to drive. And he had a couple good looks that he missed. But, I'm so proud of him for how he's handled things, playing good defense, made a couple nice passes tonight. He's becoming a complete player. And he made a big call when they cut it to like 11 one time, and we had been up 16. And he talked about a backdoor play, and he said, let's run this play. I think it'll be open. It reminded me of when Morris said it on a similar play 20 years ago, And what I loved about that is I've always said a player-coach team, and I told him that shows that he's thinking the game now on the court and feels comfortable enough to come in a huddle and say, no, coach, let's run this. And that was a big step for him.
Tom, you've had a couple of slow starts this year. What do you think it did for them to see the first couple go in? And that makes the defense a little better, do you think?
Oh, for sure, guys. I look like hell because I haven't slept in 3 days just looking at film of those games. You know, I looked at Tennessee. I looked, you know, when we did so many good things in that game other than the start, you know, and then I looked at every game. I looked at every stat, and it just came down to if we made a couple of shots and made a couple of free throws, I mean, we'd be different. You'd say, well, that's always the case. No, it's never the case that you go 1 for 20. It's never the case you go 23 for 41. Those things don't happen. If they happen again, we're going to lose again. And the surprising thing when it did happen, you know, we were 4 up with 1:06 left against a good team who's now ranked in the top 15. So when the ball goes in, I mean, my old buddy Doug Herner, who still works here some, you know, making shots cures a lot of evil. And it rejuvenates the crowd, which rejuvenates the players, which means everybody's happier, including even the coach once in a while.
Following up on an earlier question, based on what you saw tonight, do you think Carson Cooper is holding on to the center starting spot?
I don't know. You know, I'm not a big quarterback controversy coach. I mean, I don't think. I mean, we're not. Like I said, it wasn't done out of punishment. There's a difference when you do something out of punishment. It was just a decision we made, coach's decision, as they say. And but at the same time, as I look at it, you know, I mean, what did Marty play? 16 minutes, and Coop played 22. Last game was the opposite. So they're both going to play in that 18 to 22 minute thing, and they get along well. I don't think it matters to either one of them. You know, Cooper came in today and just thanked me for the opportunity, which is un-American. We don't do that in America anymore. And so I was happy for him that he played well, but I was happy the way Marty cheered him on and stuck with him. And speaking of that, I better address the technical, because I was really mad at AJ, and the truth of it is, I don't think he said anything to the official. I mean, Fierce came running over to me, and I guess he was kind of yelling at Fierce, which I actually enjoy. And the official kind of said, I said, did he say anything to you? He said, well, no, but. And, you know, there was a thing that happened earlier, and so this was a good learning thing for AJ, you know, that if you do those things and you get a reputation, then there's a quicker whistle. But in fairness to him, I have to stick up for him on this, which I don't always do. I'm not going against the official. I think it was a lot of miscommunication, and that's what happens in a moment like that. So it was no big deal, I promise you.
Well, thanks for answering my second question. But my first one is, at the end of the Duke game, AJ came to you and said he wasn't playing well, and, you know, he acknowledged that. Mm-hmm. Is this the AJ that you are hoping to see, or do you think that you can even get more out of him?
Oh, I think I can get a lot more out of him. I really do. I mean, he still missed some great shots, you know, but he got downhill more. He got in the lane more. He got to the free throw line more. He finally rebounded the ball, which he can do. We posted him up. We put him in different positions. I guess the one thing that bothers me is, you know, my whole staff's been saying if we play him less minutes, we'll get more out of him. Well, I hope he takes that as an insult and gets himself in better and better and better shape, because he did only play 25 minutes, and but he played pretty well, and you know, it was nice to get Fierce some time, because that's going to be critical to us, and I thought he played his best game as a Spartan in a lot of ways. So it's encouraging. Cohen on the other side of it, you know, they ran some good stuff that maybe he didn't quite get a chance to work on enough and got lost a little bit, but you know, they're going to be fine. I just got to get them some time now. That's all. Got to get them some minutes.
Tom, a lot of your best teams have had a defensive identity, and I'm wondering, is that for this group? You talk about the potential of that guard trio, and even with Fierce coming in as well, to be something until you guys figure out what you can be offensively? Is that going to have to carry you for a while?
And you know what? The funny part is, I thought it would be one of my better offensive teams. And so that shows you how dumb I am, at least so far. But I tell you, there's nothing like hanging your hat on your defense. I mean, it travels, as they say. It's got the chance to be there morning, noon, and night. So I've been impressed with my own. You know, I look at our overall defense with those losses, and we're holding teams to 37 and 27. Those are like phenomenal stats, and they weren't against dogs, you know. So I guess I'm more than pleased by it. Yet I think we can get a lot better. I think if we get Jaden locked in, he could be a hell of a defender, and does do a good job. But it's Cohen we got to get better at, so we can sub him. Trey was a little better tonight too, 2 for 4, and you know I thought played better, and yet I think he's got a higher ceiling. So it was a step in the right direction, but we got a long way to go for sure. Yes, a couple, one up here.
20 seconds to go. Did you tell your son to hold on to the ball, or was that his call?
No, you know, well, it was kind of his call because he's lived with me for 23 years. And everybody's mad at me. I get letters, you know, let him shoot. I'd let him shoot if there was some time left. But I'm still one of the coaches that are left in this profession that I'm not going in and dunking with 20 seconds left and rub it into a guy. It ain't happening here. I don't like when I see it happen. Now, I did chew him out in the locker room because I thought this was almost as bad as scoring, you know. I said, why didn't you just do the Steph Curry and go to sleep, you know? He says, because then I knew you'd be mad at me. And so, you know, I love my son. I love the kid. He knows exactly how I think, and I promise you if we can get some leads, I'm going to please a lot of people by letting him get a couple shots. I'm not doing that on purpose. Davis would have gone in way earlier, but he hurt his hip yesterday in practice. And I need to say something about that. And Doug Wojcik said something to me yesterday. You know how hard it is to be a walk-on and stay 3 and 4 years, and you never get any credit for anything? Davis Smith might have helped us win this game more than anybody because he played the Davis kid. And I mean, made shots and made plays, and he was unbelievable. I mean, we thanked him last night's meeting and again today after the game. And, you know, sometimes people wonder what these guys do. He's done a lot, and he's came up with a few suggestions on the bench. I mean, absolutely love the kid. Prejudiced to walk on since I was one, but I love that kid. One more? Did you have one more? Oh, one more. Okay.
Coach, Malik Hall had 9 rebounds tonight. How impressed were you about him on the defensive end?
Yeah, I think Malik is now putting games together. He's putting practices together. I hope that ankle sprain, it wasn't anything with the foot other than a sprain. But, you know, I don't think we've given Malik enough credit that he was hurt all last year. I mean, we know that at the end of the year because he had surgery. And then he missed, you know, April, May, June. At the end of July, he started working out, and then we sent everybody home. I mean, he still worked out a little bit, but so he really didn't start practicing until September, you know, and you wonder there's going to be some rust on that. And but he's getting more confident with his shot. He's starting to realize now it's okay to be in the post some. I can score it down there. You know, that's the one thing that was always hard with him. I don't know why, but, you know, AJ, he loves going in the post. And now that I'm getting Malik to do that, he's making threes and he's getting in the post. He's going to become a more complete player. He can guard. We could switch 4 with him. But he is starting to rebound. I'd like to see him get a few more offensive rebounds. But as I told him before the game, against Tennessee, who was probably the most physical, biggest team we played, you know, he had 11 rebounds and 14 points. And I watched that game 2 nights ago, and I mean, he was really good, you know, and so I'm still a little confused on why, but a lot of it stems from missing free throws or missing threes, and I just can't complain about it. I can't beat on it. I just got to live with it because I believe and know we're a way better shooting team. We're a way better shooting team than even tonight, if you ask me.
Coach, you mentioned the defensive help that Carson Cooper was able to provide tonight, both bigs, but can you just talk a little bit about his potential moving forward? You know, it's his first start, and also his growth up until this point?
Yeah, he's gained probably 20-some pounds, and he moves his feet a little better. He does a great job of walling. He's a little bigger than Marty in that respect, and he moves his feet laterally. Marty's got more hops, but I think Carson's got a little more lateral quickness to help on those ball screens and that. And so between the two of them, we got a real physical guy. We got a guy that has some size. We get Jackson back, and then we get a guy who can really score it. And I think we'll have an unbelievable combination down there. Right now, the goal is still to get Cohen and believe it or not, we're going to keep working with Book to get him in there and get him, to be able to guard somebody so I can keep him in there so his offense, and it's going to come. It's just going to take some time. And but if we get everybody playing well, then I love the rotation. We used it better tonight. Thought my assistants did a really good job on that, and hopefully we'll keep getting better. But this is going to be a quick turnaround, and like I say, you schedule these games thinking, you don't want to say it, but it's a game you should win. And then all of a sudden they almost beat the other night Alabama or UAB, and then UAB beat Maryland pretty good. So now all of a sudden I won't be going home tonight. It's Panicsville a little bit.
Is Jackson still on the same timetable to be ready by December?
I think mid to late December is when he'll start practicing. He's out of his boot now. He's walking. He's doing some things. Everything seems to be going great. But it is funny, isn't it, how you complain about a guy and what he can do and what he can't do, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and you say, wow, we could use some scoring. We could use a guy who can shoot it. We could use a guy that shoots free throws. But I will give Carson, did he make only 1 out of 2? He's been shooting the daylights out of it, and Marty's been unbelievable at the line in practice and that. So really proud of those two guys and how far they've come, just like AJ has come a long way in his free throw shooting. Well, have a good weekend, guys. Our hockey team, did they win? 3-1 in the third. So we're finally getting back on track. We're a hockey, soccer school, and God bless both of them. Coach, Michigan lost in basketball tonight. Did anything else go right so far?